Hi there. So by now you should all have had a chance to watch the 4 short videos I prepared on energy conservation and be a little bit more familiar with the terms of planning, prioritising, pacing and positioning. So this little video is just to put all those energy conservation strategies into place for an activity of daily living. So I've chosen an activity common to everybody of showering and dressing, just to give you an idea of how you can sort of work through everything that we've looked at in the last few videos and put those into place when you're considering how you can change an activity to make it more energy efficient. So let's have a little look at getting showered and dressed then. So the first thing you probably want to consider is the planning aspect of it. So for that, I'm thinking about, what time of day are you going to get showered? Do you normally shower first thing in the morning? Are you okay doing it then? Or do you find that showering's an activity that exhausts you at the moment? Do you find that you can be quite breathless for half an hour afterwards, or quite tachycardic when you've finished getting dressed? So you might want to consider what time of day you do actually have your shower. If you're finding it exhausting, maybe moving that to just before you go to bed instead. And maybe in the morning just having a quick wash instead of having a full-on shower. Have a think about the environment. So sort of your positioning side of things. So with your environment, looking at the ventilation in the bathroom, is it adequately ventilated? Just sort of bearing in mind that steamy environments are much more difficult for lungs to cope with. So if you're get quite breathless, or you feel your heart racing, it's going to be far worse if you're in a steamy room. So you might want to put things in place to reduce that, such as making sure the window's slightly ajar, or the shower door or the actual bathroom door itself, just to allow a little bit of cold, fresh air to come in, and that will just help those steam levels to be kept under control. The other thing you can do is use a handheld shower hose, so that rather than being wall mounted, if you've got your handheld hose and just hold it lower, most of the time keeping it lower than your head, that again will keep the steam under control for you. Again, with your environment and positioning, consider sitting down rather than standing up as well. So obviously it's a lot less fatiguing to sit down. Even if you're not sitting for the whole shower, you might want to just grab like a plastic patio chair to have handy. Looking again at sort of positioning, part of the side of energy conservation, try and avoid reaching down to your feet. It can exacerbate symptoms such as dizziness, breathlessness. Your heart has to work far harder to be bending over, double down, reaching down to your feet. It can increase your fatigue. You might find that it causes joints such as your hips and your back to be more painful. These are all just some of the reasons to try and avoid it. So it might be a case of investing in a long-handled sponge, or using a loofah to wash your legs and your feet, or when getting dressed, maybe even you might not want to go to the extreme of buying an easy reach or a helping hand gadget from an equipment store, but even just using a pair of kitchen tongs just to extend the length of your arms a bit will just help to reduce having to bend over double and take away some of the strain of the task. What else have we got? So again, on the planning, just look at organising your space ready for the shower and dressing activity. So before you go into the shower, you want to think about getting all your clothes ready. Think about what you're going to wear for the day. Get your clothes out, lay them out on the bed or lay them out in the bathroom. Maybe as well, getting your towels ready. So if you're really finding you're getting quite breathless, haven't got much stamina, get a towel and pop it on a chair in the bathroom, or lay it out on the edge of the bed, or use a terry toweling dressing gown, so that when you come out of the shower you can just wrap yourself in your towels into all the nooks and crannies, so that when you can just sit there then and just relax, get your breath back, get your heart rate under control again, and 10-15 minutes of just sitting there, your body will be have dried itself a lot. It'll be less for you to do, and it just saves all the having to dry yourself and rub yourself down, and so much easier for you. And again, that's part of your pacing as well, isn't it? Is making sure that you allow yourself time to be able to sit after an activity such as showering, and that you're not having to rush to the next thing. That's all part of your planning too. Okay. When you're thinking about your wardrobe choice and what you're going to put on, it's an idea to think about wearing something that's a little bit looser. So you might want to go for either your looser items of clothing, or buy things in a size that are one size bigger for a little while. Just grab a couple of cheap outfits, so that it's not so much of an effort to get into items of clothing. Think about whether the fastenings are at the front or the back, or whether you maybe go for elastic waists for a while, waistband. Think about if you've got buttons, the size of your buttons. It's going to be a lot trickier and take more effort to do up small buttons rather than large ones. Just a couple more things. We talked before about, with positioning, about having a bit of a declutter, and think about the effort involved of getting into your wardrobe to get your clothes out, and you're going for that one item on the hanger, but you're probably going to have to move items to the side to pull the one item out, and that effort of pushing items of clothing to the side. It's going to raise your heart rate. It's going to lead to breathlessness. If you've got any sort of joint pains, it's probably going to just exacerbate that as well. So you might want to just have a bit of a sort out and put some of your seasonal clothes to one side, and just concentrate on making sure that the clothing for this current season is more accessible. The other thing to do as well with positioning is to think about your environment and how easy it is to get it into like a chest of drawers that you've got. When you go to pull a drawer out with your clothes in, do you find you're having to jerk, and do you get some resistance there, or does it run really smoothly? So it might be a case of being a bit practical and putting a bit of WD-40 or some wax on the runners, just to make it easier to get clothing in and out of the wardrobe. So there you go. I think that's about it for showering and dressing. So lots of different ways that you can put your energy conservation into place. So just every activity you're doing at the moment, whatever you're finding difficult, plan, prioritise, pace, and think about your position and the environment as well. Okay, that's all for now. I look forward to joining you next time. Bye for now.